Hi, this is Tim Grant with Shunra Software. This is the Network Catcer 6.0 Setting Up Monitors video tutorial. The Network Catcer's general layout should be understood before we begin so you understand the terms that I'm referring to. It's pretty straightforward. The clients are essentially your browser, the desktop interacting with the Network Catcer user interface. Network Catcer server, which has the Network Catcer web server and database and main control center loaded onto it. You're going to access that via your client desktop. Default Network Catcer agent on the Network Catcer server, so you can do measurements out in a star pattern from the Network Catcer server. If you want to install remote agents, like at a remote office, you can do some simple, straightforward measurements, which include latency, packet loss, and upstream bandwidth availability. If you want to do bidirectional bandwidth availability, you need to install a Network Catcer agent at the remote location that will allow it's essentially doing an upstream bandwidth availability check in one direction and then turn around and doing another upstream bandwidth availability check in the opposite direction. The Network Catcer remote agents are optional. It just depends on the requirements for what you want to record in your production environment. The Network Catcer's UI is pretty straightforward. The Monitors tab will allow you to set up new monitors, look at existing monitors. If you want to create a new monitor, you click on the Create button. The new monitor creation screen allows you to name the monitor and select some information about what the source and target URLs are. I created a FedEx.com endpoint in another session. I'm setting up a monitor to do a TCP peerless measurement to port 80 on the FedEx.com server, wherever it may be. If you looked at the endpoints tutorial that I did in another video, this could be an IP address or something like that, and you configure that inside the endpoints tab. You can have it target a specific port. So this is actually going to do a TCP three-way handshake and give us latency and loss information based on that. I also have the bandwidth unidirectional estimate selected. This is just going to do the upstream measurement from the Network Catcer server. This shows the configuration using the ICMP ping. Again, ICMP would have to be enabled between the Network Catcer agent and the target location. Also, I've got the capability of editing the ICMP characteristics, which include things like the interval size, the packet size. So the packet size is only 60 bytes. The idea behind doing these kinds of measurements for latency and loss is to make the packet very lightweight so it doesn't actually impact the network that it's measuring. The unidirectional estimate, it has some utility. We think that the bidirectional estimate is a far more useful metric. So I'm going to switch this over to bidirectional estimate. The bidirectional estimate will allow us to measure the latency and packet loss in both directions. I set the duration to 1 hour and I hit the start or play button. Once you start the monitor to run, you'll see a start time and an end time. This is going to be your machine's local time. The results tab is automatically selected. If you want to go back to the settings, you have to click on settings. The idea is sort of a logical progression. You have a definition for a monitor, and then you schedule it to start at a particular time or hit the play button, and then you want to view the results. So the UI will automatically go to the results tab whenever you just click the play button. The bandwidth availability and the latency and packet loss will begin to populate pretty soon after you start the measurement. The Network Catcer monitor screen also has the map view, and this map view actually shows the monitor that we set up, originating in Philadelphia, and then I set up a different endpoint. I call it PAM Lab PC4. So this is a remote agent, and it's going out across the network and across the internet to connect to this machine and pull back latency and loss information. You can see by this green line that it's running and it's functioning properly. Now I'm logging into the Network Catcer interface, and it does take me directly to the monitor screen. So from here, there's a folder called Monitors, and I can select any of the monitors that I've run previously. So I'll select a monitor from the list, and I can look at the settings and start it again or schedule it to start again. By selecting a monitor from the list on the left, and then selecting the Results tab, I can see the bandwidth availability, latency and loss, and the packet loss for the entire recording. Then I can use the zoom bars to zero in on interesting points that have happened during that time frame. So that's how to start and run a monitor and to quickly view the results. I have another short tutorial that should be found in the same location that will cover analyze and export as well as some of the statistical analysis features. If you have any questions, please contact me, tim.grant@shunra.com, or if you have any suggestions, certainly feel free to contact your sales team as well. Thank you.